for that. It was around 11 p.m. I lost consciousness. And around dawn, I woke up. And I started just walking, looking for a human being for assistance. And I was taken to hospital. Lucky enough, the step wounds were on my side and my head. I survived. Amen. I think God had a mission. Because today, I'm standing in front of you. I've walked on the path to assist other people. And I would push for others to be the leaders of the political side. Because I really felt that if we have the right leaders, people will be helped. It didn't happen. And I had a visit to Zimbabwe sometime in 2011 when the man I vouched for, I think maybe you've read about his name. His name is Morgan Tsvangirai. He was prime minister by then. He was flying around the world capital. But I went to the villages and I met with the people on the ground. I had a man in his late 40s who called me aside and he said, during the liberation struggle in 1979, he was shot in the leg. And he carries a bullet, but he was struggling. He was poor. And he asked me, will he ever be happy? Why is he carrying the bullet? And I looked at myself. I belonged to the party which was saying, we want to help people. And it touched me. I went to another village. I was invited to meet with the people. And one after the other, they told me about the atrocities the current government had committed. I don't know if you're familiar with what happened in 2008 in Zimbabwe, when the government set the militia on its people. It made people were tortured because they set up torture bases. And that particular village, there was a torture base where people were being taken to the torture base because they belonged to the opposition. Yes. The party I belonged, the party which had the prime minister. So they asked me, they said, why were we beaten? And I had no answer. They said, I'll carry your message. And they said, the people who beat us are laughing at us. They said, you suffered for nothing. You want to change? Your man is the prime minister. So where's the change? And from there, I decided I was going to communicate to the prime minister that he needed to think about people first. And that was the birth of Zimbabwe First. People had forgotten about the people. They've moved to the Me First mission and forgotten about the people. So, as I stand in front of you, I'm really honored that I'm in the house of the Lord. Because ultimately, when I spoke with the man, we had the levers of power politically. He did not grasp it. There was no connection. The message in him, there was no commitment. And today I'm standing as the leader of the Zimbabwe First movement, of the People First movement, because the connection was with me, not with him. And this path is ordained. It's ordained. It's since April 10, when we decided to abandon the focus of pushing Tsvangirai to be the leader, and we decided we're going to go on our own. Because people say, Dr. Shumba, if you don't lead this vision, this vision is not going anywhere. It's like the empty demand of change with no substance. So from that day, it's amazing how many pastors have been put around me. As Pastor Noah Kainga, he was one of the early people. I have every one of people in this delegation who are part of my delegation today are deeply religious. In the USA, I have pastors who call me. Pastors started sending me messages from Zimbabwe. And they say, the message was very simple. They said, do not look back. Continue doing what you're doing. So I'm here to tell you that I will continue doing what I'm doing. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to build a voice which we call the final voice. The final voice is the voice which is going to say, enough is enough. Let's focus on the people. That's the final voice. And can I do it alone? No, but the Lord have said other people will help me to carry the burden on my shoulders. And me being here with Pastor Jonathan James is testimony to that. I'm surrounded by men who have never been in politics. Never. But because of this mission, they are committed. And by the way, the issues in Zimbabwe are not because people don't know what to do. People know what they do, what's needs to be done. People know what's wrong, but there's a lack of commitment. And thank you so much for raising the connection part. If you know the right thing and you are not connected, your heart is not connected to do it, it's never be done. It's the past. I don't know if you're familiar with the story of a lion which was killed in Zimbabwe called Cecil. Cecil the lion made headlines globally. It captivated households at my place of work. People asking me about Cecil the lion. But us, the Zimbabweans, we're not equally captivated. And asking myself, what's going on? And I know why. It's because our leaders have not been able to tell the world the story, the human side of Cecil the lion. Cecil the lion resembles broken law. There is no rule of law in Zimbabwe. But there is a bigger story to be told, the suffering of the human beings, the suffering of Zimbabweans. The Lord in the Bible said to kings, we will give you the mountains, which shall give you peace. And we know underneath the mountains, in particular for Zimbabwe, there's a lot of mineral wealth with diamonds, with platinum, with gold. Those mountains have caused us sleepless nights. Those mountains have failed to give us peace. And these mountains are the reason why I'm here. Well, these mountains should give us peace. We have mineral wealth underneath these mountains to guarantee a peaceful and prosperous Zimbabwe. And I'm so glad to be standing in front of you announcing that, Pastor, after we met yesterday, and we spoke briefly with Pastor Jonathan James, and he said, Dr. Shumba will work together. Thank you so much. It's an honor. I know more people will continue to be placed on our path, but I see the roadmap to a prosperous Zimbabwe. And our mission is to create a template for Africa. Africa has no model to run on, where they can look and say, okay, if we want to be prosperous, we can do what this country did. And we're going to do it. We're going to start with Zimbabwe. That's why we come with Zimbabwe First. Everything is a first, and it's going to be Zimbabwe. And I am a scientist by profession. I have a family, 4 children, beautiful children, 3 girls, 1 boy. A job, wife, beautiful by the way. But I am sacrificing myself to get in the mud simply because I believe in the people. And who are the people? The people are not only the Zimbabwean people. The people are you, the people are me, the people are you, the people are everybody. When we pick up the final voice, it's going to be the people's voice. And it has to be, it's to start somewhere. Our leaders, circling back to our leaders, they know the people are suffering. But when they go around the world, when they dine with other kings and presidents, they act as if everything is okay. They don't tell the story. That's why the world was focused on TCL, but never focused on the suffering people. And I'm here to tell the people that Zimbabweans are hurting, Zimbabweans are suffering. And for that, I'm willing to look and leave behind everything which I've worked for, personally as any other human being. I went to school, I did all the right things, but I'm willing to come down and start again. And I ask you, TLC, to work with me. Not only Pastor Jonathan James, but every one of you. I ask you. This is a beginning of better times. I've consistently told everybody that we do not own the failures of the past. We start here and we move forward. We are going to put systems which guarantees that if there are crimes committed behind, they'll be taken care by the law. It's none of our business. It's none of the business of a president to say, oh, you killed. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I'm not a prosecutor. I'm the guarantor of the people's interests. Instead of standing on a podium and answer the question to a person who is a non-Zimbabwean, why he should be interested in supporting Zimbabwe. Our presidents want to die. So I'm here to say to you, I know you're not Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans in this room are outnumbered. And you might be sitting and say, okay, why should I care? Or, how can I help? How can I help? That's a very important question. How can you help? I have a structure here. Can I, Mr. Chairman, can you stand up? Mr. Kingston Mushamwe is the ZimFirst chairman in the UK. He needs your assistance. There are times when the people back home need assistance, and he has to galvanize whatever. It might be moral, it might be financial, it might be resources, whatever. Assistance is assistance. Thank you, Mr. Shumba. We have ambassador, Mr. Matthew Mambura is our ambassador. These are the people who you can work with. I'm not here to say, help them this way. Life is very dynamic. The needs of today are not the needs of tomorrow. So, but when they come here, through Pastor Jonathan James or someone who's designated, you will know they represent a very good cause. And people should never doubt our commitment to this cause. There was a time when they thought this man, who is a scientist, is going to give up. He's going to go back to his normal life. And I've told them I'm not. And I'm telling you, TLC, I'm not going to give up. And I'm going to ask you to walk with me.